Hey guys, Sam Oser here. How y'all doing? So, I'm going to let YouTube notify people and get some viewers on here before I start getting into the meat of this. But today we're not going to talk about such a fun subject. We're going to talk about how wages are continually dropping. And we're also going to be talking about how inflation is eating away at wages too. Hey, caught a live stream. Yay, how exciting. Before I go any further, I just wanted to remind you guys Jordan's sick right now, and he's also working on deadline for a piece out of Flint that is going to blow your ever loving mind away. When it comes out, I highly encourage you to read it, share it, because this is, as a collective status quo, what we're working towards is what we're trying to do to expose the truth, get the people to know what's actually happening. But anyway, he's out and you got me. So, oh no. Anyway, all right. So back to workers' wages. So worker wages are continually plummeting, and the inflation isn't helping at all. So worker wages drop while companies spend billions to boost stocks. This is an article out of CBS News Money Matters. The answer is largely in the company coffers. Businesses are spending nearly $700 billion on repurchasing their own stock. Companies are using their profits to repurchase their own stock. And it's not like a couple of thousand here and there. Across the nation, it's 700 billion. Let's let that number sink in. What could 700 billion do for our nation? Let's see. It could help with universal health care. It could help with student debt, student debt forgiveness. There's so much that could be done with 700 billion. And instead of reinvesting it with the people, they are reinvesting it with themselves, which further goes to debunk this stupid, trickle down theory put on. So I'm going to copy and paste this article in there. I'm still working on getting that fancy program Jordan has. It's not fancy. It's odd. It's a free open source thing where when you watch Jordan's live videos, he's live and it has the text of the article he's looking at right there. I'm still working on learning that. I'm not too good with technology. But until then, there's the article right there so you could see how corporations this year have reinvested $700 billion within themselves. Last week, I was talking to one of my friends who does a lot with the stock market, and he was explaining the tactics to me on how stock people use their money to completely manipulate the stock market. And it was really interesting to me. There's this thing called, was it called? No, it's not called ghosting. I forget the word that he used, but essentially, he used the example of Elon Musk. Elon Musk, I hate that he doesn't let his workers unionize. But anyway, from a stock perspective, to show you how stocks are manipulated, there was a whole bunch of people who don't like Elon Musk, a bunch of capitalists who are oil hungry. So what they did to try to get rid of Elon's stock, like to make the value less, they sold a whole bunch of stock. And they started day trading it to bring the stock lower and lower and lower. And of course, your company's worth is only based on your corporate stock. So, in efforts to keep his stock falling, other investors were manipulating the market. But then my friend explained to me that Elon went in at the perfect time and put in, what he say, like 10 million. He bought back $10 million worth of stock, and it made the stock completely shoot up. So all of these anti-Elon investors were trying to kill his stock by using this manipulation method, and then Elon went back in and bought back his own stock and made it go up tremendously. Um, Wash trading. Yes, yes, wash trading. That's the word. Thank you, Carl. Yes, that they were using wash trading as a manipulative tactic to get Elon's stock to go down. I don't like Elon because he refuses to let his workers unionize, but capitalists don't like Elon because he is trying to do everything electricity. He's, really digging into the oil market. So, worker wages dropping, corporations are using their own money to reinvest back into themselves. And inflation. Inflation is eating away at any worker gains. For the second month in a row, annual inflation fully offset workers' average hourly wage growth. Wage growth. Oh my goodness. So this one I got from the Wall Street Journal, which is insane. Now we already know that inflation's playing a big role in our wages, right? So our money now just doesn't go far enough as it used to. I have a friend who graduated from college. She is trying to get a job in her career, and it's kind of working, but she found something with photography for $11 a month. I mean, $11 a month, $11 an hour. Yikes, $11 a month. Can you imagine? I mean, if we don't stop this, this is where it's going. But she's working for $11 an hour, not $11 a month. Let me correct that. But after her student loans, after child support, she's making less than $1,000. So she found something on Craigslist for 500 bucks a month, a little apartment, 500 a month, and she went to go look at it. But she told me that it was half a bedroom with the toilet in the bedroom, a sink, and that was it. $500 a month. And this is in Houston area. Actually, I'm more in the suburbs of Houston. Downtown Houston's more expensive. The suburbs is cheaper, and that's that's how much was afforded to her for $500 a month. So inflation is eating away, and this last second month in a row, annual inflation fully offset workers' average hourly wage growth. Um, so, US inflation is hitting its highest rate in more than 6 years. Inflation rate is the highest it's been in more than 6 years. It's just getting higher and higher and higher. And of course, that's by design, right? So, if you look at before the 2008 recession, there's a lot of same um, factors going on before the recession that there are here: buybacks, inflation rates. So there are a lot of factors that are pointing us in the same direction as the recession. Don't quote me, I'm not an economist. I'm not telling you there's a recession coming. Don't freak out. But there are a lot of factors that before the 2008 recession are present now. And this inflation eating away at wages is one of those. Um, the Consumer Price Index, which gauges that what Americans pay for everything from vet services to baby clothes, rose seasonally adjusted 0.1% in June from prior month. This excludes volatile food and energy components. Economists surveyed by the Wall Street Journal had expected a 0.2% uptick from May for both the overall index and core inflation. So we have two things working against workers right now. I have more things that we're going to talk about, but right now we're on two things. Worker wages are dropping as corporations are using profits to boost their own stock. And two, inflation for the second month in a row has superseded average wage, average hourly wage. And for the sixth year in a row, the US inflation rate has been the highest it's been ever for the sixth year in a row. So those are just two things. I got more. I got more. Um, so what we also need to talk about is the various explanations as to why workers are not doing better. So the main reason is unions. We don't have hardly any unions in our country anymore. We have some scattered around, but there was the more I learn about unions, when I learn about things, I like to go into the past to see the history, to see where they came from, what happened, and I also like to look at the media perspective of it, right? Well, from a media perspective, in the 80s, there was a major PR campaign against unions, saying that unions are just as corrupt as anything else. Unions steal, unions do this, unions do that. But it was a PR campaign put on by a collaboration. I don't want to say it came from Reagan's administration because it didn't. It came from a collaboration of all the oligarchs in that era, who are more than likely alive today still, to start getting rid of unions. And that really became a sort of like just more prominent in the 90s when Bill Clinton and the Democratic Party continued to push unions away from the party itself. So that's just great, isn't it? So unions. Oh, so that's one, two, three things, the unions. Fourth thing is this globalization. So capitalism and imperialism, you can't say capitalism without imperialism. They're pretty much one and the same because imperialism causes the profits for capitalism, right? So, and that's another thing. We keep getting into these trade deals that pushes cheap labor across the U.S. Not across the U.S., out of the U.S. So we have countries, we have places across the United States, steel workers, coal workers that don't have jobs. They're ghost towns. I remember during the 2016 campaign, I really started paying attention more to these rural areas that were getting left behind, these coal counties, and you can see from their town that they've been completely stripped away of like dignity basically because they didn't have any jobs nearby, and because of that their schools were getting defunded. People were leaving the towns that used to be prosperous because there wasn't anything there anymore. It's really, really depressing to watch. And where are all these companies going? They're going overseas. They're going overseas because they're getting cheaper labor. And they're going overseas because of these stupid trade deals that we have, that are paraded around as something for the people when, they're not. So I'm going to look through the comments. 3%. Kylie Jenner has launched a GoFundMe. Yes, Carl, I saw that Kylie Jenner thing. I also saw that it was like hashtag self-made woman, and that was a complete blow up on like the feminist side of things. It's like, she's not self-made. What are you talking about? So yes, that's go capitalism. Uh Fiat currencies haven't created. No, that's right. Reagan killed unions, but the process began during the Carter years. Interesting. I need to look up on my history on that, but I don't doubt it because that's how things move, right? At least the establishment and the oligarchies behind the political figures start moving a step ahead, right? So Carl Knight was saying that the process began during the Carter years, and I'm not completely surprised because during the Carter years, things seemed fine, but just like we organize grassroots wise, right? So precinct chairs, county, Democratic Party, canvassing, they do their own organizing. They do it through ALEC, they do it through their fundraisers. Did you know? Okay, so I found this out recently that Walt Disney World has a very, very special I don't know if it's top secret. It was top secret to me. Executive office bar where only the super, super, super rich go to. One of my coworkers was telling me about this because his wife is an executive at Disney, but she's not high enough of an executive to be allowed in this Walt Disney office. So they have these secret meeting places where even if you're an executive, you may not be an executive high enough to attend these places and be around these people. Is that not like terrifying? I was so terrified when he told me that. Um, so, but yeah, that's what I was reading these articles and I thought I'd share them with you because we all know workers' wages are going down, but we never have the stats to back it up, right? So the fact that this year, we're not even completely done with this year, but corporations have spent $700 billion in US corporations have spent $700 billion in their own buybacks in their own stocks to raise stock price, to raise stock investment for their shareholders while profits keep going down. Inflation is the highest it's been. Like it's 6 years, it remains the highest inflation rate, and it's offsetting putting workers in the negative. So as soon as we get our check, because of inflation, we're already in the negative. And then, of course, unions and globalization. So, anyway, that's all I really got. If you can share this video. Next time I'll be talking about the Waltons. The Waltons are oh gosh, the Waltons are working on privatizing education across the US. And I've seen their handiwork in Houston. And it's not just the Waltons, it's also Bill Gates, it's a share of other oligarchs, but they are organizing to remove public education and replace them with private charter schools, privatize and make money off of it. And it also ties back into how data has become the next gold rush. So, anyway, that's all I got for y'all. Next time, I'll be talking about Waltons and how data has become the next gold rush. So, bye bye. Toodles, toodles, toodles. Toodles, toodles, toodles.